Assalamualaikum guys, hope you're well, and I'm sorry I can't cut this hadith in half. I just love it too much. I gotta share all of it. Comes in hadith. I'll try to go as fast as I can. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mu'minu qawiyyu khayrun wa habbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if." A strong believer is more beloved and liked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a weak believer. This can be in terms of physical strength or like financial finances. So like a strong believer who is physically stronger or financially, then can help most of the people in that sense. Or even it could also be in terms of like stronger iman, because you have greater belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the weak believer. But then it says وَفِي كُلِّ خَيْرٍ وَفِي كُلِّ خَيْرٍ, which means that both of them have good things inside them. And don't say I'm better than you and stuff like that. It's not part of Islam. احرص على ما ينفعك. I like this part. I translate it to mean be greedy on what benefits you, but it actually translates as strive for that which will benefit you. Look, when I was in madrasa, I used to bother the crap out of my teachers and bother the crap out of like friends who were in higher grades than me. And basically, when you're sincere and you're greedy to learn Islam, you can go very far, very fast. And like this is a couple of weeks ago. This was before Ramadan. This is exactly what happened. A friend of mine, I was watching a movie, and then he started asking me a bunch of Islamic questions, and it kept me there until like 4 a.m. And he was like super greedy and super sincere to learn, and it was just like these questions that was just bobbling in his head that he hadn't really addressed. And after answering those questions, by Allah's fazl, of course, alhamdulillah, he started praying 5 times a day, and really changed. So it can really change you when you're sincere and you're greedy, and you gotta force the people to teach you who know, as I did, and I really benefited a lot from them, and I make dua for them too. Like they really gave me a lot of their time. I'm thankful for that. Now this is the main part of the hadith. Okay, well, let me finish. وَاسْتَنِعْ بِاللَّهِ وَلَا تَعْجِزْ, and seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not give up. فإن أصابك شيء, this is predestined part, 2 minutes in, wow. فإن أصابك شيء فلا تقل لو أني فعلت كذا وكذا. If something befalls you, a calamity befalls you, don't say if I only did this and if I only did that. Like I could have avoided the problem, I could have had a better outcome. Because in the end of the day, you never know what was going to happen, and it's all Allah's will. For example, right, you have a car crash, and you think to yourself, if I don't have a wife, but like you might say to yourself, if she got ready sooner, a minute earlier, I would have missed the car crash, or a second earlier. That's just your second thing. So 10 seconds earlier, this car crash would not have happened. Or you come late for an interview because like your brother was taking a shower and you got in late. See these things, right? Your wife and your brother had nothing to do with, had no intention to make you late for your interview, your brother or your wife, for you to have a car crash. One of my friends, Husifa Patan, he said, an accident doesn't announce itself saying, hey, you're gonna have an accident right here, I'm gonna crash into you. It just happened, and they're predestined. It was supposed to happen. It could have been that your wife got ready on time and then you had a car crash and there's no change, or something else could have gone wrong, or your brother could have came out of the shower on time and then you got into a traffic jam, or there was some other hold up. So you're gonna keep thinking like this, like if this, if that, da 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 da. And at the end of the day, you're just gonna go in circles, and you're never gonna move on. You're just gonna make yourself depressed. The hadith says when that happens, when you start thinking like this, just say وَلَكِنْ قُلْ قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ وَمَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. Just say Allah has decreed, and whatever He wills, He does. You could just say it was Allah's decree, or you can say it was Allah's will. This is my fate. I couldn't change it, and there's no need to change it. Allah's test is that I do sabr. If it was a calamity, or if it wasn't a calamity, you made a decision of something, then you just like say, I made a decision. I made the best decision I could have, and it's time to move on. I can't. If I keep going into ifs and buts and blah blah blah, it's just gonna make me depressed. And then the hadith finishes off as saying that فإن ما شاء فعل فإن لو تفتح أمل الشيطان, because the word law, which means if in Arabic, opens the actions of shaitan. When you start saying if, this, that, and other, opens the actions, could be depression, refer to depression, or two, could be referring to blame shaming, like blaming others, like you're blaming your wife, or you're blaming this, blaming that, blaming that, blaming that. caused this accident to happen, when you don't even know at the end of the day, all of that could have gone well and that still could have happened. Or some other thing could have happened. It was all predestined, and you just say it was Allah's decision, it was all predestined, it was Allah's decree. I gotta move on. Yeah, continue. One thing I like to mention is that you should learn from your past mistakes. Like, for example, you've had a conversation with someone and you said something offensive. You don't say it was predestined for me to say something offensive and just don't learn from your mistakes. You learn from your mistakes in Islam. Whatever happened, I hope that makes sense. When you can learn a lesson from it, but don't dwell on it to the extent where you start making yourself depressed or you start blaming others. And lastly, I just want to mention again, this is a gift to have fate, or to have an understanding of predestined. For the Muslim people, it's fate. It's a gift that you don't go into depression thinking to yourself that whereas like an atheist, he'd be like, if I did this, because he doesn't believe in predestined. They don't have that gift of belief that fate, it was my fate. They just think to themselves that I could have changed it in some way and form, and they go into depression. So remember that part too. All right, guys, sorry it took so long. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.